I thought about like, oh my goodness, State of the Union speeches on just numbers. I don't know what they mean. So I figure all the legacy people who grew up with that, and it used to be a thing to watch, right? But the political discussions in my home got too violent. Like it's getting bad. Like having a political opinion in our home. So whatever. I thought of different things like the TV's making me schizo. Well, schizo is just agitated paranoia, like the symptoms and signs of they're crazy. I've been beaten. I've been beaten multiple times. Mobs, people, just that kind of crazy. So, well, see, with an unfortunately named, how are you connected to Jeff? They want, they're coming, they're coming. That does Epstein. They want more Epstein files. They want to know how you're connected to Jeff. I have a brother named Jeff. Yeah, he's the biggest piece of to his family. Probably they always making new friends or something. Just that little compadre of what did Kid Rock say? He could shout it out to all his heroes at the methadone clinic. Do we have a history of problems of drug abuse in my family? Yeah. Alcoholism? Yeah. Homeless, alcoholic, deadbeat dads and stuff. I don't know which ones are dads. I actually think I was born into a time frame when it was the easiest for a man to go have sex. So it seems to me that people trying to tear apart the technology in our world are the people who like people for like trying to talk to their girl. You ever met one like that? They were in the city where I came from. My brother got a DUI in my car. He was at this place, the local tavern. He was pretty obnoxious. He was talking to the girl, and the guys freaked out. Chased him out of the car, out of the bar, and he jumped in the car to get away from these guys who wanted his ass for talking to a girl. Boy, oh boy, you try to talk to like one of your family members, and they're a girl. Oh my goodness. Well, apparently the in-laws are very, very, very possessive. That's how little they trust with Daisy. I was just thinking about stories from when I started going to church and doing Bible studies. We started off the very first like consistent Bible study thing I've ever went to. We were doing the book of Zechariah, and Zechariah is where like I really the prophet Zechariah. Well, the Zechariah was taking instructions from King Nebuchadnezzar. The time that book was written, Jerusalem had fallen. Uh, and so half the world's Jews were taken to Babylon in captivity with King Nebuchadnezzar. So Zechariah is like over there giving instructions to the Jews that are there. And one of the big things is don't build the walls. Don't start rebuilding the walls, or don't even rebuild the walls. I don't know. And I thought about it because later on I learned in that same class that King Nebuchadnezzar had brought in a person by name that my art history books is Alexander the Great to destroy a city named Tyre. Apparently, Tyre too was built, but this one wasn't on land. This was out at the sea, and it was a city with a wall out at the sea that King Nebuchadnezzar really didn't like. So walls are for protection, right? Well, I was just thinking, who's in that city? Well, I don't know. I don't know if city states were inclined to loot surrounding areas. I was just wondering, like, when hunters come out from the city or traders, they go and they find something to bring back. They bring back like food, people. So the people allowed to leave. Like if this is this big of a situation for me even talking to my cousin, I'm really just curious. That's a heavily armed border that just popped up. We used to be able to go over there, not anymore. Somebody built a border on land that used to be what? Is my family still? Do I still have family on the other side of that freaking border zone? It's nice where being from where I'm from. Like not big surprise. Not big surprise that the girls from our neighborhood. Well, uh, now like contagion. What I wonder is how big. Because boy, oh boy, these past few years, work is work. I have a bunch of like, well, Pop would call them zombies. I used to call, but they're more animated. They have a little bit of a tiny bit of the prosperity to be able to sleep indoors. Still food insecurities. You're gonna have enough to make it another day. So those are the people that are surrounding me. But then again, maybe some of them really found a way to party it up. Those are the ones I'm more concerned about. The ones you're about to get the rages because their party's over. I was just doing the math of like, if I gave everybody here food money, you pay for your selfish. Go ask Jeff for money. Doesn't Jeff owe you money? Go ask Jeff for money. He's real generous. Yeah, that's what it is. It's all the Epstein victims and their friends. Oh, the power of tears. I'm looking forward to hearing the testimony. I truly am. I'm looking forward to hearing the testimony from 500 miles of cock, otherwise known as his Pop's ex-wife. Anybody you been with Pop's wife? You know, I tell that story. Any of you donated 6 inches? Help get your get your NCO's ex-wife across the finish line. Just pushing her a little bit at a time. I heard they used to be bad. To be like in. That's not good for unit morale. Or maybe that's why unit morale is so high. It's raining all day. I've got court in the morning. Ruby still hasn't called me. And she probably thinks that once they get her phone number, she'll have another like D-Dog or something, and be like, "Hey, where are you? Why won't you call me back? Why do we have to get that?" You know, it worked for me at one time, like decades ago. They rejected so hard, like not a salesman. I take no for an answer. Never mind, I'm disappointed. Never been my cat. No. I had a chatter on Twitch today. Look at the name. It's kind of surprising, but I was doing an audiobook thing, and I didn't want to like over the audiobook we talk into a chatter. Not really interested in building like a bunch of viewers that I don't know. This is nice, but it's just more sticking around because the people, my family and stuff, like Jasmine. Oh, refugee! I got a text from my cousin who I stored like, oh, she's bad. Well, there's a campaign over in Europe to let people know that refugees smell like jasmine. It's like how many refugees, Jasmine? Well, there are quite a few cases of the European human rights activists, and they caused some riots apparently, but over jealous, jealous refugees. There's a camp full of all the refugees, men, and just one. Oh my goodness! I'm sure there are more. Yeah, these European human rights activists, and they're refugee of man harems. Apparently, I need men, not a woman, not the women in my family who have like hundreds and hundreds. I just You know, they just doubles on like leveling up. They were side scrollers. They had a video of this woman and she had a TikTok or something, a short. She had a pregnancy and she attacked like 400 men and got pregnant. She got pregnant by after having sex with like 400 men. I'm assuming it's like the one time. Or in a wonder who the lucky guy is. Mm-hmm. Trying to be responsible. I went to the store once today. Man, I went to bed at like 10:30, 10:20. That's pretty early for me. Last week I went to bed at 9 something, but I was also like really tired and under the weather. Mine's bold and beautiful in a general hospital today. A little bit of behind the gates, but general hospitals has been around longer and you want to flip back and forth. There's no point because they just barely know what's going on with one plot line. Oh yeah, yeah. The guy's attorney friend. It's an emergency. Yeah, oh my goodness, he's so sweaty. He's like that loophole lawyer guy. You know, he's here for you, John. He's here for you, Mr. Melendez. You know, the crime. You know, gotta get a head start on this and start paying your lawyer. He has to get started right now, building a big legal defense shield for you these charges. We're all put on the State of the Union in the background. What kind of commercials they'll have? Or, oh, okay, yeah, he's talking to Wall Street people. I guess that is important, like thing to plug into your calculations and stuff. Man, Jimmy Vance looking pale. JD all right? Sean Spicer. station is carrying. Ooh, TMZ. I used to watch. Well, it's probably still on. They have a live stream of TMZ. Pretty much. I think more people might be watching the live stream than. It was so amazing, so brave. All the what that girl's been through. Wonder if they're done. There must be a news story on it someplace. We'll look it up later. It's thrown into an all boys.
students and educators in every state have joined the first lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed.
All right.
Over a silver coin on the.
I was really the chapter is rather short today on my audio book that I'm reading. It's not my book. It's free online, and it's in the public domain. So I do long readings from it. Well, I wouldn't call it a collapse. It's because the local, not wanting well, no, giving it a bad review, but I don't even know if it's a real Subway sandwich place anymore. I looked at the owner certificate there on the wall, and it's the name of the shop on this doesn't match the name you have on the outside. Oh well. So yeah, they ran out of onions. That's the second time I've been there and they haven't had any onions. Then and the bread that they have listed, they don't know what those are. So there's okay, white bread, and this it's pretty dry. But it's conservative. That's conservative. They just probably use the bread until they run out of the bread. Come on. I just grew up eating in front of the television. So having stuff on constantly, whether radio or TV, when it gets too quiet like this, I'm like, there's something wrong. Hmm. That is mhm, mhm.
Mrs. Zaretsky, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
I thought they said that they didn't want their daughter's death to be used as a political prop, by the way, which is crazy because Irina was woke.
Maybe Irina wanted to a heterosexual man.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough
Again, he's
legislation to
mad.
ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
Oh, that's not the father. That's a different person. It's just the mom that showed up. How do you not stand? You see? You're not gonna stand. If you don't stand, you're gay. Over and over again. That's it. That's
To
one
restore
line.
law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success. New Orleans, Louisiana, big success. And our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. I don't like to hear that. One of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night.
It's kind of weird to be like, oh, one of them made it, by the way, and he's awesome for making it.
But his
Like,
mother said, no, Mr. President.
both of the families are there, you know what I mean?
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance.
Also, Trump is the opposite of Joe Biden. Like, Joe Biden is the griever in chief, right? Like, he's so good at grieving. Trump is so violent with the way that he describes these sorts of incidents. Like, I'll never forget when he had the hostage families on him, behind him on stage, and he was like, they were ripped away and they were being decapitated and raped brutally. You know, and he's just like such a psycho because they're like, their family members are like right there. The nasty things they did to these hostages of the family members right behind me.
But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right.
He is truly, unambiguously the most unempathetic person you can be. If you don't stand up for this guy, I'm gay and Lebanese. You're gay and Lebanese. Look at the Democrats.
Amazing,
They won't
actually.
stand up.
I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you.
Not the
We're proudly
Democrats.
restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. My first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? You're sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank
We're officially at an hour and 20, and it's fucking
Secretary of State
so bad.
Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Bernie Sanders looking right at you, big dog.
Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back, but we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the ninth war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb.
It's coming. Hold.
And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from
I wonder if Daniel
hanging
Dale will do a
lot of
fact
them
check on this
with
one.
the threat of serious violence, but this is some terrible people.
Everything he says is a lie, but
They've
when
already
it comes to
developed
foreign
missiles
policy, all of a
that can
sudden
threaten
we're all in
Europe
agreement, right?
and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never.
Yes, you have.
Have.
They've said it so many times.
My
They've
preference.
literally nonstop said it. Let's see if the Democrats clap for this one. Oh, Democrats are getting up for this too. Oh, Democrats are getting up. Elizabeth Warren got up.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy.
Fuck this
But one
country.
thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called Peace Through Strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republicans in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies, have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 4. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently... And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute, for $1 more, we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more, I said $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it, so we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also... We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Get Mexico out of your fucking mouth, you son of a bitch. Do not bring Mexico into this.
And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. It very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore.
How is that funny? How is
We've
that
also
funny?
taken down one of the most sinister
We're such
cartel
fucking
kingpins
assholes,
of
dude.
all.
This is
We saw that
why
yesterday.
I really hope there is a God.
January.
I really hope there is a heaven and hell because these guys will be punished forever, but shit like this makes me feel like there isn't one, you know what I mean? Like, look at all these fucking animals. Look at all these fucking animals celebrating the murder of random boaters, talking about how we've destroyed their fishing industry. You fucking piece of shit.
In world history, no one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
What the fuck is that yell? Oh.
And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to say, Enrique, please come down. Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy.
Bro, it's so much more boring that, like, he's a reality TV guy, so the expectation is that he's gonna cook, right? But this shit's boring as fuck.
Swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a
It's just
major
ass.
military installation. protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good? While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying.